everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, and today we're just going to do a little bit of a talker, and I want to talk about Aramintha, because Aramintha, if you don't know, and you should know, has been just a massive part of this channel, honestly. She's been my favorite character since day one, and a little bit of a backstory here. When the game first came out, we were doing selective summons, and I was going to take Aramintha, and we had the Korean users in chat when it first came out in global yelling at me, telling me I was dumb, that I was going to take her because she sucked, and I should take somebody else. I think they said at the time I should take, I already had Destina and Says, so I forget who they said I should take at that point, but it wasn't a good character. But the long and the short of it is Aramintha has kind of evolved quite a bit over the past 4 years, and I'm really happy with her now. And I just want to say I was wrong, because when the buffs came to her, when the changes came, when her exclusive equipment came, I was very unimpressed. I wasn't expecting her to be good. I wasn't expecting her to be useful. I was expecting her to stay in the little bit of the scenario where I would use her and just have fun and not really like be happy about it, if that makes sense. But it turns out she's been fantastic for me. I feel like she's earned her spot on her team. I feel like it's not just a meme to bring her, and I feel like she's very elastic in terms of where I can bring her. I'm happy bringing her both in RTA and in Arena and in Guild War and in PvE. I think she's just an all-around fantastic character right now, and has been since her changes. So I just want to go over me being wrong, because you guys like that. It happens a lot. So the big thing I want to talk about is her skill 2. So her skill 2 catalyst here. If you don't know, previously it didn't have this for each unhealable inflict. It increases the CR by the caster by 25%. Now this changed a lot in her kit. I found previously I thought where her barrier was, with her skill 2 giving barrier instead of her skill 3 here, I thought that was going to be unfortunate. I thought having the skill 2 here unhealable being unreliable, especially where I used her in Guild War, to not be so great. Overall, I just wasn't too happy with the change. And after playing with her for a while, at the start I was a little unimpressed, to be fair, but after playing with her specifically with this build, I've been extraordinarily happy. I've seen a lot of people build her damage based, and I'm just not the biggest fan of that, because I feel like that's something a lot of other units can do a lot better. But having her in this build, and I do want to say, if I didn't have good gear, if I didn't have specifically good gear for her, at least in my case and how I like to use her, I think she would not be good. I think she's got an extremely high gear ceiling. And if you look at my stats right now, we've got 3,700 attack, 1,600 defense, 15,000 HP, 243 speed, and 90 effectiveness. And do note, I could get another 18% effectiveness here if I actually ever summoned her, but I don't. I literally never ever pull her. And if we take a look at her gear here, it's generally pretty efficient. We take a look, we have 0 crit chance, 0 crit damage, 0 effectiveness. So every single stat goes into attack, defense, HP, or effectiveness here. And honestly, I tried to ignore effectiveness for the most part as well, because if we take a look at her awakens, she gets 12 here, 24 there. Is it just 24? She gets 30% effectiveness from her awakens, and that's pretty big. So 39% from effectiveness awakens, and then the set piece here, so 59% from that. And we can take a look at some of the gear, and my goal when I was building her was just to go attack, HP, defense, and speed. I wasn't looking at effectiveness. I was looking at primarily defenses with attack after. So I was looking for HP / defense, then speed, then attack, and then effectiveness as the filler. So we've got pieces like this, and this was a really hard one for me to replace. It's 40% attack. It's got HP as well. You cannot get defense in this slot, so pretty much ideal stats there. Slot number 2 could definitely be better. This is one of my worst pieces, I think. It's just got effectiveness, attack, defense, and speed. I would much rather trade this effectiveness for HP. I would much rather have higher stats. There's a lot I would rather change here, but this is a really hard piece for me. Defensive slot 2, or not slot 2, helms have been rough. We then have her chest. and it's got speed, effectiveness, HP, and defense, all good stats. And I wanted to keep her at about 240. I didn't want to drop her under 240. We then have her right side here, which I think is where she gets most of her stats from, because helm and chest are not very great. But right side here, we have 65% attack with a whopping 49% health and defense, and then with flat attack and speed. We then have the ring here, and flat HP is not terrible for her. She has forget how much base, 5,500 or something like that, maybe a little bit more, and she doesn't lose too much by using that, but we do gain quite a bit of HP, defense, speed, and attack. So this was another really hard one to replace. Obviously, if I could change this to main stat HP or defense even, and then change the sub to a flat, I would absolutely be happy with that. And we have the boots here with just defense, attack, HP, and health, all raw stats, just straight up defenses with a little bit of attack there. Yeah, and she's been working fantastically. She survives quite a bit. She does die pretty easily, specifically to like Rimuru. Rimuru is what really kills her. She can tank a lot of other units, but Rimuru is somebody I've just stopped bringing her against, which is a little bit unfortunate, because Rimuru is somebody I would like to bring against her against, because fire versus earth, obviously, but it just doesn't turn out that way. And the cool part about her skill set here, between her skill 2 and her skill 3, is that you have a choice now. At the start of the battle, you have a choice between skill 2 and skill 3. So on one hand, for your skill 2, you have increased attack and unhealable, and a chance to get a faster turn for her skill 3. So this means that in situations where you need to strip, where you need to give somebody else attack buff, it's fantastic to use this first. But in situations where there's no immunity or anything like that, and you really want the higher chance to stun, because we do have the 60% chance to stun here, you kind of want to start with Fire Pillar. I really like that you have a choice on the first turn instead of it being entirely obvious. Generally, you're going to go skill 2 into skill 3, but there's so many situations where you want this barrier, or where if you go skill 2 and skill 3 and you whiff all your unhealables, you're just in a horrible spot. I hate being in that spot. And the other thing is, with her change in her exclusive equipment here, we have a couple choices. We can get the CR increased by 5%, which is something I wasn't really a fan of. But maybe I'll go back to it after using her for a while. There's so many situations where that extra CR would make a world of difference, and the 10% stun is great as well. I think it depends on what her artifact is, and if we take a look at Abyssal Crown here, we have two choices that I personally really like. One is Abyssal Crown, the other is Etika's Scepter, and having the ability to go skill 2, skill 3, Etika's twice somehow, which happens a lot, and then all of a sudden you're back into skill 2, skill 3 again. That might be really good when paired with this Catalyst combat readiness increase. I also thought we were gonna be a little sad with how her skill 1 works now, because it detonates instead of doing the cooldown reduction, but I ended up really liking this. This is a fantastic way to just kill things. Even with 3,700 attack, which is not a lot whatsoever, she does enough damage to just blow people out of the water. So yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm saying here. I just want to say I was wrong, and I'm very happy with Aramintha. She brings so much joy to my gameplay, and I really recommend, if you have a character you really like, if you really like Cowrick, for example, just try as many builds as you can until you find one that works, because I tried so many builds on Aramintha and I just was never happy until I slotted this one in, and it's just like, I will never take a piece of gear off of her unless it's an upgrade, because it's just so satisfying. And if you've watched my Guild Wars, you've seen her just dominate lately. If you've watched RTA, you've seen her when she takes control. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I was wrong about Aramintha. I'm really happy with her. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.